I try not to take too long on this part because for me, this is like my focal point. And okay, so growing up, you know, elementary school, middle school, I was overweight. I didn't think about it that way because, you know, you're a kid and you're having fun and, you know, you're being a kid, as kids ought to. And, you know, when I would go to school, I, you know, get called names. Are there any kids in here? Technically?
Define your age primarily.
Over the age of 13. Or under the age. Is there anyone under the age of 13? No?
We're good.
We're good? Okay. So, you know, I get called all sorts of stuff, you know. I get called, you know, big, badass, whale, you name it, I get called it. Anything you could think of. And it hurt, and it was just one of those things that you get called that constantly every day in school. You get called, you know, elementary school, middle school, and you try not to let it affect you, especially if you have a, you know, a family unit that's very supportive of you, and you're like, oh no, sweetie, you're gorgeous, you look like this, and you know, when you go back to school, you still hear all of this stuff. So it does tend to affect you, and out of curiosity, how many of you have had to deal with getting bullied in school? Wow. That makes me very sad. One second. Because you guys know what it feels like, and it's not nice. So, you know, that kind of thing. And I tend to look down, because if I make eye contact with any of you guys, I'm going to lose it. I can't do that. So, you know, you start to believe these things, and as you, you know, go into adulthood, those things they become a part of you. They become a part of who you are, and you have all of this baggage that you carry with you, because no matter how much someone can say that you're not like that, in your head you still feel that that's what you are, because it's been drilled into you. It's become a part of you. So to start to break that down and shy away from that mentality takes a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of positivity from others, in addition to you just working on changing your mentality as well. And then also growing up, I didn't really have any friends, and that was one, because of my weight. No one wanted to be my friend because of my weight, and two, because I wasn't into the things that everyone else was into. This is before all of this became like awesome and acceptable and mainstream. You know, this is when, if you're a girl and you like gaming, or you like all these comic book characters, it was wrong, and it was not right for a girl to like those things, because she should be liking Barbie and makeup. So, you know, I was definitely one of these social outcasts in that sense. You know, your stereotypical geek / nerd, that was me. You know, so in my adulthood, yes, I had all of this baggage and low self-esteem, didn't think the best of myself. It was not good. I was a very negative person, and you know, I went to my very first con and saw all of these different cosplayers. So the first two that I saw was a Storm and a Mystique, and it was here in LA back when Wizard World had their LA show. And I fell in love with the concept, because I grew up watching X-Men and the animated series, Batman the animated series, you know, Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all that stuff. That's what I grew up around. So when I'd see two characters from X-Men, I just laughed. I was like, oh my god, you look so awesome. And I really wanted to do it too, but it was one of those things that in the back of my head, they're going to make fun of you, they're going to call you names, they're going to say that you're fat and you're this and you're that. Don't do it. So I wouldn't do it. And next show, I'd get all excited and I'm going to do it. And again, wouldn't do it, because again, I'd be beating myself up in my mind. And it wasn't until 4 years ago that Frank Cho had asked me to do figure modeling for him, and I immediately jumped on the opportunity and said, you know what, yeah, I'll do it. I love you, you're my favorite comic book artist, so why not? And I did a figure drawing class with him at a comic book convention, and it was a lot of fun, but again, one of those things that you just couldn't walk on the floor for fear of being made fun of for how you look. And, you know, it took a couple more years, now getting to 2012, and I finally said, you know what, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to have fun with it, and to hell with anyone that says anything negative. So I made my costume, I walked the floor, I had an absolute blast, but then my photo popped up online for the very first time. Internet trolls. And what happened then was there was a lot of positive comments, but there was also a lot of negative comments. And the negative ones, I got a lot of she-mail on those, yeah. I got a lot of she-mail ones, I still got the body shaming ones. And then there was a lot of positive too. So negative, a lot of positive. And then, you know, someone told me, you know, for every one negative comment you have, you're getting 20 or 30 positive ones. Why are you letting that one negative comment destroy all of the things the positive ones are doing? And that really sat with me, and I guess that was when I started to just really, that mindset started to like really go away, and I said, you know what, you're right. Why am I letting these things affect me? Because the main point is that you should be enjoying it for you, and you shouldn't be worried about what he says or what she says or anybody, you know, either internet or in person. And, you know, unfortunately people on the internet are going to be very cruel because either one, they're unhappy with themselves and try to project those insecurities and unhappiness onto others to boost themselves up, or two, they're going through some stuff and again taking it out on you, or they're just assholes in general. You know, so it boils down to how are you going to let that affect you? Are you going to go ahead and not do something that you want to do and make them happy, or are you going to make you happy? Because there's one thing that I do regret, and it's wasting those 7 years worrying about what everyone else is going to say instead of being happy with me and who I am. And I won't get those 7 years back, but at least now I'm in a place where I'm actually happy with myself. And granted, you know, we all have our bad days. We all have our days where we just feel completely awful, but it's all in how we choose to deal with those things. And then lastly, with body image, I know, this is like the one part I talk a lot on, I'm sorry. You know, look at different comic book artists. Look at J. Scott Campbell, look at Michael Turner, David Finch, what's going to think off the top of my head? All right, those guys, for example, you know, they draw their women very lean, very slender, very tall. They're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I love their art. But then you also have artists like Frank Cho. You have artists like Art Adams. You have Frank Frazetta. And they draw their women very full-figured, very thick. And just like these artists draw body types very differently, cosplay is also a form of art, you know. Either if you make it, you commission it, whatever, it's art. And just like these artists have a right to express themselves artistically in whatever body type or design they put on that character when they're putting it down on paper, so do you as a cosplayer or a costumer. We all come in different sizes, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's something to be celebrated. You know, we all are very diverse and different, and you know, just because somebody says that you don't look like J. Scott Campbell's black cat because she's super thin and you're not, doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. You're doing it right, and there's something wrong with that person. You know, or, you know, vice versa. You know, each body type gets crap. Either, like what she was saying, she was heavier set, then she went to being really thin, and on both ends she got negativity. So no one, there's people that are just never going to be happy, and there's people that are never going to be happy with how you are. They're just negative people, and you just can't let that affect you. You got to keep doing what you do. You know, the moment you let that affect you, they win, and you're missing out on what could have been an amazing opportunity for you to just own that floor and be a badass. So, yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm done with my little